All right, got Duquesne coming here on Saturday. They're 1-1. They obviously beat Albany and then had a tough road loss to Dayton. They had the bye week this past week, and so I'm sure they're rested up and be ready to come up here and play. Offensively, they're a multiple offense. Throw the ball for about 300 yards a game. Mixed in some run. Got a pretty good receiver that's pretty much their primary guy. Got some auxiliary guys around them that have made some plays. Defensively, they run a three-man front on paper, and then they also mix it up with some multiple looks as far as giving you a version of a four-man style front. Try to pressure you a lot, hitting gaps. So, but they're a good team, and they'll come in here to Stanbaugh Stadium ready to play.
Chris Elkins says they kind of run a weird defense.
Well, the thing is, it's similar to Southern Illinois in some aspects that you can see a version of an odd front, which is basically a three-man front. You can see an under front, which is another version of an odd front, but different alignments. And then they also do some, I guess you would call a chaos type front, where they have some guys floating around inside and moving around all different places before the snap of the ball. So we just kind of label that as a chaos front as far as guys jumping around, moving around.
Like Mangini likes it.
What's that?
Mangini.
Yep, similar to that.
Did you find anything positive from the film from Saturday, or do you just kind of throw that game out and move forward?
Well, I mean, we obviously on Monday addressed the film. We watched it as a group, offensively and defensively, and I think we pointed out some things that we could have did better at key times, both as players and as coaches. You know, I don't think the score was really a true indicator of the game. You know, with less than 4 minutes to go in the game, it's 21-10. We got the ball, and we blocked the pitch key and fumbled the ball. You know, whereas we potentially gave them 7 off the kickoff return, which, you know, Stubbs couldn't have got that ball. I don't think there's anybody that could have got that ball. It bounced hard. For him, it'd be hard right and then a hard left, and he did his best just to get the thing covered. And fortunately, we did do that. But, you know, and if we don't kick a field goal there and, you know, keep a drive alive and give Kurt probably a little more protection, there's potentially, we felt like we left 7 on the board there instead of a 3. So, but we've moved on. We've learned from that, and they're a good team. And, you know, it was maybe a little bit of a reality check for us that, you know, we're going to have big games coming down the pipe. And when we're in that arena, when we're in a game, when the game's on the line, or you're in a big game and you can't have a mistake, we got to play at a higher level. And that comes with just being able to you have to be able to handle the moment better than we did when the pressure's on.
Eric, where is your football team? You beat 2 teams you're supposed to beat. You lose to a team that not many people gave you a chance to win. And you're playing a team really that a lot of people expect you to win. So do you have a barometer of where your team is?
Well, I still feel good about our team. You know, the first 2 games, obviously, the first game we probably didn't play as well as we'd like. Second game played better. Third game, you know, I think we've changed the expectations around here. You know, when I first got here, you guys would ask me the question, can you score a touchdown against a BCS team? You know, we don't ask those questions anymore. We really expect to win those games. And, I mean, we expect to go in and compete and have a chance to win them. And the lopsided score doesn't indicate that the game was as close as potentially it could have been. Now we're back at home. This is our last non-conference game. And, you know, it's kind of like the first quarter of a season, really. When you think about it, you got 12 games. This is, you know, game 4, you know, so we're getting ready to get into the second quarter right now. And, you know, we're going to get a good shot from Duquesne. You know, they're a neighboring school to Pitt. They would nothing more than like to say that they beat the team that beat Pitt last year. You know, they're going to come in here ripping and roaring, ready to play. That'd be a feather in their cap, and we're going to get their best shot, and we expect that. At the same time, We talk about defending Youngstown. This is our home turf here, playing well here, and obviously, continuing to try to improve so when we get into conference play, we can play at a high level. And, there's some things that we want to see improvement in this week, and we expect to see those things. We had a good practice yesterday. The attitude was unbelievable. Kids were flying around, and guys are in watching film just like we're playing Michigan State. I see guys in there watching film. Last night I saw guys in there watching film. So it's not really who we play. It's about our preparation and how we play.
Do these types of games, the 2, the 3 against your non-conference in Michigan State, because they're so different, 3 teams that are in the Pioneer and Michigan State higher, does that prepare you for conference?
I mean, I think any game does, as far as getting guys out there, and we got some guys that haven't played a lot of offensive line snaps, so we're getting some experience there and getting some reps, playing some new guys at some positions on defense. So every game helps. It's more experience being in the moment, and I think it prepares us for a conference play. We had a road game last week, so we have that experience of what it's like to be on the road. Road games in our conference are very difficult as far as just the travel and and that type of thing in the settings. So we got a little bit of a taste for what it's like to go on the road and what the procedures are. So I think it sets up well.
What's the running back situation like coming into this game?
We got a bunch of guys that can play, but Martin Ruiz obviously last week in the game showed that he belonged on the field. I mean, he wasn't intimidated, played well, other than the botched pitch there, and that was kind of, a bunch of guys' issues right there, not just specifically his, but we have to take care of the football there. But he didn't flinch. I mean, you can look in a guy's eyes and know when he's scared, and he was not intimidated whatsoever. And he's just going to get better and better. Jody Webb got a few snaps in there. Did some decent things. Torian Pace got some reps. Damon Himes practiced yesterday, full speed, and so did Bellamy. So maybe we'll put five running backs out there at one time and figure out who has the ball.
Who's going to start Saturday?
We have not made that decision yet. We'll probably make it on Thursday. We like to usually evaluate practice and see how guys are, and there's a lot of things we factor in. You're a guy that comes in and watches film. You're a guy that shows up to the meeting, exactly 5 minutes before we want you there. We got competition at that position, and we're going to take the guys the hungriest and wants to play.
Can you maybe assess your wide receivers you thought would be a strength going into the season? And I guess I haven't seen that for you.
Yeah, I think the thing that's probably showed up the most for us is there's been some opportunities out there that we haven't seized. On Sunday after we graded the film, we talked about that, and I think you'll see some new guys in some new spots, getting some opportunities. Maybe there's some guys around here in the past that have made some plays that haven't had opportunities. Guys like Christian Bryan, I think you're going to see him pop up again and give him some opportunities. Coach Beathard feels strongly that we still have too many missed assignments for routine plays that we run, and we're gonna shake up that group a little bit as far as getting guys in there that are gonna be assignment sound and do the things that we ask them to do.
Is Jelani still working his way back to 110?
Yeah, he's still working back. He's still working back. He's just, I think the thing is he's not quite 100% getting back as far as the mobility. He's working at it. We're going to put him in on some special teams and some stuff like that, and get some work out of him there. But as we continue to shake things up, I know from week 1 to last week, he's definitely looked better on the field as far as his ability to run routes and separate from people. So I think we're working towards getting back and being able to get in the lineup and contribute. Early on, was just really hampered by the hip and the knee, and wasn't able to separate from people.
Moving forward, how important is it to play well this coming Saturday?
It is. It's very important. I think it's important every game to show improvement, but we need to play well Saturday. I think to get a little bit of confidence back, and that's going to be important for us to get off to a hot start.
Others in specific that you're looking to improve upon?
I think we talked about this is we want to see us have better play at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, whether it be getting off blocks, whether it be finishing blocks. That's something that we've been talking about quite a bit, and we didn't have a chance to really make an impact on line of scrimmage last week like we like to and emphasize around here, and we got to get on the edges and play more physical there and play with our hands better and really just try to separate people from us instead of just being consumed.
Is Boatwright done?
Yes, he'll probably come back, just rehab it up and do the best he can, but more than likely that this will be a situation where he'll do as much as he can for the rehab process and try to come back and play with a brace. But I'd say he could come back at the end of the year and potentially help us on some special teams, maybe a little bit of nickel, but it's a tough deal there.
Is coaches carrying momentum with a win, into conference play? Is that a big deal for you and the team?
No doubt. I mean, every game's important. We talk about every play's important, but every game's important. And we realize that from our past, every game's important, and we need to play lights out and can't take anything for granted. And that's the mentality of our team is the only way you get rid of that ill feeling that you have after losing is to go out and practice well so you can have confidence, so you can expect to play well on Saturday. And, that's the only way you get rid of that feeling. And, no one likes to walk around on Monday around campus when you've lost a football game or not played well. And that's just the nature of, our sport is you got to wait 7 days till you get a chance to renew it. But at the same time, you can't just think you're going to show up next Saturday and win. You have to work hard and feel good about your game plan and see a lot of those plays visually before they happen so you can play well on Saturday.
Eric, can you talk about the national exposure FCS will get with game day going to North Dakota?
I think it's awesome. I think it's great for our conference. I think it's great for North Dakota State. I think it's great for Craig Bull. Coach Bull and I have become friends just because of our past relationship when he was at Nebraska and I was a player at Kansas State, and I have a lot of respect for him. My first year here, he came in here and played us, and went down to the wire, and he had a tough year that year. I think he won 3 games or 4 games, and and was really in that process of trying to build that thing back up. And he's done a great job though, because North Dakota State's a place that's won a lot of national championships. I think they've won 10 now, and much like Youngstown, the expectations are high, and he's been able to weather that building process, and he has depth on his team, and I have a lot of respect for what he does. He's a Tom Osborne guy, and I can see that in him. I can see that in his program and his mentality and the way they run their offense and just what they do defensively. But he deserves it, and it's great. It's good exposure for us. Where it'll go from here, I don't know, but I think this year, game in and game out, the FCS has represented itself fairly well, except for our game. In a lot of those big games, there's been some wins. There's been some wins against teams that we probably should beat, but there's also some wins where we probably shouldn't have. And I think it's good for our level of football. I just don't know if it's going to be enough at the end of the day to ever give us the breakthrough maybe that we're all looking for, as far as maybe having a big, huge playoff or something like that, like they do in basketball. It's just not possible.
Do you think it could help with the Big Ten kind of getting out? Do you think it could help maybe the other schools really notice FCS football if they haven't already?
As far as the Big Ten what?
Well, Big Ten not scheduling FCS teams anymore. Do you think this can maybe open some doors for some other conferences to maybe take a look at it? I know they're doing it, but with the
I think it could. The only, I think the only problem is though is a majority of our conference is located in that Midwest region. So, then you're going to look and say, well, where are we going to go? We're going to go to the Big 12, and like, we tried to get West Virginia to play, and go down there and play in Morgantown, and that's our closest Big 12 team. So we're all kind of searching for where we're going to go, and that means more lengthy travel. Anytime you charter a plane, that's $100,000, so you take that off the top. So it's going to become interesting to see what conferences want to be involved and what don't. I don't think the Pac-12 is going to flinch on it. I think they're going to continue to keep doing what they've been doing. But I really don't know how many Big 12 teams are playing FCS teams when I think about it, other than obviously the Kansas State game this year. But other than that, I'd have to probably look at it to see.
You ever talk to Snyder about playing?
Yes. He don't want to pay. Coach, he didn't want to play. He didn't want to pay. So, I've talked to a lot of my friends about playing. Even South Carolina. I figured you guys like to get down to Columbia, check out the cabooses, but they don't want to pay either. So we got to find somebody that's got a big checkbook like you, Dana. You know what I mean? Big Bank Hank.
You do anything with Priscilla this week since it's the game?
He's the one that's got all the pressure. He's given the scouting report today, so I'm sure he'll be all revved up. And it's got to be fun to play your alma mater. I'm sure. And he knows all those guys down there, and it'll be exciting for him to get a chance to play him.